When it comes to inspection of parade, I see the way you want and then I was given the explanation how you are a member, and I also agreed because the records also saw that. So most welcome back to your church. Doing that. Number 2 area is health. You know very well that in this nation we have 5, because the hand will prepare a good plan that in whatever office one is occupied, from the top to the smallest. Even during the eye themselves and get to where they are supposed to be. What am I saying? And when we have spiritual growth, it takes control of the rest.
It's there in your bulletin. You may follow it up, and you need to publish it and make it as more. And at the end of this,
thank you very much, Dr. Zango. Before we go to the reading.
Chapter 6, from the hands of the hunter, like a bird from the snare of the fowler. A little folding of the hands to rest, and
Timothy, chapter 2, verses 14 to 22. 2 Timothy, chapter 2, verses 14 to 22.
Who have wandered away from the truth. Read it together. Pursue righteousness, faith, love, himself from the altar.
We are scared to speak and to say the truth, and yet we see ill deeds. Fearing what will somebody say, what will somebody do. We must speak out, because these people are supposed to be your servants. These people are supposed to be working for you, including myself. So we must never fear to speak when we see somebody doing wrong. Yeah? No matter who he or she is, Reverend, you must call them out, because it is the only way that we get order, that we get integrity, and that we return to the true Christian values, which I believe 80% or 90% of the people of this country believe in. We must never fear to speak out. We must never fear to point out. We must never fear to show where there are failings, even if it is from our leaders. Let them say what they want. As I said yesterday, there is no one in this country who is above the law. And the law must treat each and every one of us, irregardless of our social standing, irregardless of our economic standing, it must treat us equally. Or that here we are, or as a government, we're getting into exam season, we are treating this as a military affair, that we are converting exams and schools and education into military camps. Well, without a doubt, yes, indeed, that is what we are doing. But ask yourself why. That's the first question you should ask yourself as a parent. Why is this happening? Where does a child get 100,000 shillings to pay for an exam? Si ni nyinyi munawapatia pesa? Au pesa hiyo inatoka wapi? Mtoto wa standard 8 anaweza kupata 100,000 ati aende alipe kununua exam. Si ni mzazi amempatia? Surely. Yeah? We must ask ourselves, what is our role? Why are we over-pressurizing our children? Truth be told, not every single child is going to grow up to be a professor. God has given us a multitude of talents. Let us allow our children to develop. Let us not encourage them to take shortcuts to get degrees that end up being meaningless because a child is not even prepared because all you've done is bought those exams. There is no shame if a child has done his best and doesn't get the top grade. There is no shame if that child moves to a technical school and becomes a farmer, becomes a plumber, becomes a person who is perfect at making furniture, becomes an artist or a musician. Shida iko wapi jameni? That is the talent that God gave that child. Let him or her express themselves. Don't force them to the point that you force them, you corrupt them. Yeah? And at the end of the day, they become useless instead of gainful and useful citizens who can make contribution to this life. Your commitment to establish the Presbyterian University of East Africa as a top-notch institution of higher learning is reflective of your enduring spirit and action to progress the training of our people. The government of Kenya is cognizant of these efforts and commends you. I am also aware of the advancements made at the university, which has now met the standards required for reinstatement of the letter of interim authority. I am therefore pleased to announce today of the reinstatement of the letter of interim authority to the university and to present a copy of this decision to you. In the same breath, I encourage all of you to continue implementing all the recommendations made by government, and I have no doubt that the Presbyterian University will become the center of knowledge, science, and innovation and research that its founders meant it to be.